and welcome to PALCSology, a podcast on PALCS, or Pennsylvania Leadership Charter School. In these episodes, meet your classmates, teachers, staff, and other people who make PALCS possible. We'll touch base on events happening, play lots of games, and answer your burning questions. Here to give straight talk on PALCS, I'm LillieMae Sweigert, and I'll be your host for these conversations. Today, I'm dedicating the podcast to anyone who's an aspiring writer, author, or illustrator. Today we'll talk to student Elle Fox on her journey as a foster family and writing her first book, Meatball and Birdy.
So today on the podcast we have
Elle Fox.
Okay, and then what's your grade and then how old are you?
I'm in 11th grade and I just turned 16.
Awesome. All right, so how long have you been at PALC for?
This is my 6th year at PALC.
Okay, and then do you have a favorite or a least favorite class in school?
Favorite is difficult to pick, but I generally prefer English classes, and I have a bit of a harder time with history, but you know, they're still pretty similarly ranked.
Okay, and then do you have a favorite teacher from the past, or a favorite grade you've had?
Well, I enjoyed my English teacher from last year, Mr. Pettit. He gave a lot of great feedback, and I felt like I really improved during that class. And also, my French teacher, Madame Crisapio, was very encouraging and fun to learn French with.
So I feel like I'm gonna ask this, but I have to ask. So do you have any college plans, or do you have a major in mind or anything?
Yes, so after graduating, I'm hoping to go to art school in Australia and study to become an art teacher.
So how did you decide about Australia?
So I'm half Australian. My dad is from Australia, and I spent 3 years of my childhood there. So I want to go back because we've got a lot of family there and a lot of memories. So it would just be nice to go back again.
So what's your favorite part of cyber school? Because clearly you've been at it for a while, so you must have something to talk to you.
Yeah, well, my favorite part has just been having freedom to do a lot of stuff outside of school, because, as we're kind of going to talk about, I was a foster sibling for 6 years, like the same amount of time, I guess. So I was able to help out with the kids a lot, and I had a lot of freedom to, go out and do things with them. And also I was able to draw and paint a lot more than I would have if I had a more of a structure with schooling. So I've been very lucky to have cyber school so that I can do so much.
If you had to give one piece of advice or one thing to any high school student that you think would be something universal that every high school student could benefit from, what would that be?
That's tough, but I think I would probably say just not to stress about everything so much, because I think especially in high school there's a lot, it feels like there's a lot of pressure to do super well and to know exactly what you're going to do in the future and everything, and I think you definitely have to try your best, but in the long run I think you're not going to really care about that one assignment that you accidentally turned in a day late, or those little things that just seem like such a big deal. It's no need to worry so much.
And then what's one thing that you would tell your past self?
Well, it's difficult, but I think I would say, I don't know. I think I would say kind of the same thing. I was very, concerned with, doing everything on time and doing everything to the best of my abilities, which I don't regret at all. But I also really appreciate those times that I decided to wait to do schoolwork and just, spend time with my family and with my siblings. And, you're never going to regret spending more time with the people around you. So I'd probably just say that.
Right, so as you mentioned, you were a foster sibling. So can you tell us a little bit about your experience and then like what was your favorite part of being a foster sibling?
Yeah. So like I said, I became a foster sibling when we started fostering when I was 9. And since then we've mostly taken in babies, but some older kids. And it's been a crazy experience, but I've really loved just being able to kind of see them grow, because usually, they're really little and then they start to learn these different things and you start to see their personalities, and it's really fun to watch someone grow up. So that's kind of the best part, but just sharing so many experiences with them.
So what made your family like decide to foster in the first place?
Um
Like,
well, yeah, I mean, I think it was a long time coming. Of course, I wasn't a part of the initial conversation, because I was so young, but my parents had always thought of adoption, and they thought that doing that through foster care could be a good option. And it's actually part of why we moved back to the US from Australia, is because the system over there is kind of difficult. But here we thought that we could foster kids, and we were hoping to adopt through that, which hasn't worked out yet, but being given the experience has been, just so much more than we hoped for.
so you were an only child prior to fostering?
No, I have an older sister and younger brother as well. So we've all been able to help out with the foster kids. So it's been really fun.
So I can imagine like fostering a child means you have to like eventually give them back. So what was like the hardest part for you of foster
Yeah,
care? Like, that would be hard. Yeah.
right. That's definitely the hard part. Is I actually almost more than giving them back or seeing them go back to their birth parents is kind of just thinking about that, trying to conceptualize that while you have them, because you just have all of these experiences with them, and you have to kind of remember in the back of your head, like, this isn't going to be forever, which is really difficult to come to terms with. But yeah, so it's really difficult to go through that kind of thing, but yeah.
How long was the longest foster child that you fostered?
The longest placement we had was our last one. He was about 4 months old when he first came to us, and he left earlier this year when he was 3 years old. So we'd had for 3 years basically, and so that was crazy. That was really difficult.
All right, so now we're going to go on to your book because obviously it was inspired by your experience fostering. So obviously it was about fostering, but what inspired you, or what was your inspiration necessarily to write the book?
Yeah, so of course, just the whole thing with fostering was something that I felt like people around me, especially my age, just didn't understand. So I felt like I couldn't really talk to people about it. And so when I came up with the idea to make the book, and the characters were inspired by 2 of the foster siblings or foster children that that we had at the time. When I thought about doing that, I just thought it was the perfect opportunity to kind of help people understand what it's really like to foster.
But can you tell us what your book's about, and then the title of it too?
Yes. So it's a story based around a dog called Meatball, who finds an abandoned bird, Birdie, and he takes care of him, and kind of they become friends, and they learn to live with one another, and they just make a lot of memories before the bird's mom comes back, and that way it mimics foster care in that way, but it's kind of just about the emotions behind fostering and how you deal with that, and it's called Meatball and Birdy.
Yeah, I like literally was like in love with your book. It was so cute the way it was done. It was just like so wow. together and thought out.
Thank
Well, I'm personally like adopted, so like I kind of got where you coming from. Look, like being adopted means you got to stay with like your family forever and you like go back. So it was really different to read about some experience about, having to give back that child. I can only imagine like, being like shipped back to Korea after like so many years and then
Yeah,
like put memories behind you. So especially as a kid, you're like kind of helpless. You can't like just like go back or whatever. Kind of
yeah,
have to wait.
yeah. Well, I'm glad feel that way, can kind of relate to it in some ways. And I think that's one of the fun parts is that so many different people can relate to it.
All right. So how did you start your book journey? So like, are you gonna write more? Did you like think of this one and just want to do that one? So like, how did you start with the book idea?
Yeah, so I came up with it first, like I said, based on two of my little siblings. And once I had thought of creating a book, it was a slow process where I wrote a couple drafts and I made a couple character designs for about 2 years before I became a part of the program called the Young Entrepreneurs Academy. And there I was able to kind of fast track that process. And I started writing and illustrating the book. And so I was really able to kind of make it a reality through that class.
So like I said, do you plan to write any more books? You know, give me like a series of like different animals like fostering, or is it just like a standalone kind of thing?
Yeah, well, I love to write more books. I definitely have a lot more ideas. And I think that there's a lot more to do with these characters as well. I don't know when that's going to be. I have a lot going on, but I don't think I'm going to stop writing just yet.
What gave you like the why children's books? Like why did you go for that kind of aspect of fostering?
Yeah, I mean, I think children's books are they just fit with the fostering theme, especially as my family was fostering little babies and toddlers. We tried to find some books that we could read to them and tell them about their situation, but I found that they were all very literal interpretations of foster care. And fostering is a really complex issue. But when you're reading a book to a little baby, you don't want it to be that complicated and that much information. So I thought that it was perfect to make these characters into a book that really strips down the foster system into just the emotions behind it. That way, the kids can understand it a bit more, and it's a fun thing for them as well as being a realistic interpretation.
Is there like an author you look up to or like someone that like you want to aspire to be like someday?
Yeah. So specifically during the creation of this book, I was really inspired by Charlie Maxey. He wrote the book, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, and he illustrated it too. And the illustrations are just so beautiful. And everything about it, it just looks so perfect. And it's such a sweet story. And I thought if I can make something that is remotely as good as that, then I would definitely want to try. So he definitely inspired me.
All right, do you prefer writing or illustrating? Do you have like a preference?
Yes, I definitely prefer illustrating. I've been drawing for ever now. For as long as I can remember, I've been drawing and painting. And I actually never thought of being an author. That was never something that even crossed my mind. But with this project, when I created the characters, I was drawing them and everything, but I just really wanted the story to be portrayed the way I had it in my mind. And so I kind of became an author because I just had to do it myself, but I'm definitely more of an artist.
So I have to ask now, what is like your medium? Like what do you use for like your art? Like, what's your favorite thing to use?
Yeah.
Art?
See, that's a really difficult question. So for the book, I use watercolor, which I like, and I've been using it for a while. But at the moment, I really, really like oil paints. I think there's a lot to learn that I haven't yet with oil paints, and they're just really fun. But I've tried so many mediums. I love sketching just with graphite. I love acrylic painting. I love pretty much anything to do with art. I've done it at some point, and I'll definitely do it again.
Did you have an artist you look up to then?
Oh my goodness, there's so many. I mean, there are a lot of modern, artists that are alive, like Alpe Efe. He's a German artist, and he's really, really good. But also, John Singer Sargent, who's, from the past. But there are so many artists. I mean, really, I could look at any piece of art and take something from it, which is crazy, with social media and everything. You see so much and you're inspired by so much. But yeah, if I had time to come up with a list, it would be pages and pages long of artists who inspire me.
Oh, that's great. All right, so now let's move on to our game while we still have some time. So
Yeah.
we're gonna play definitely a short version of Never Have I Ever. Like that game, a little crazy sometimes. So we each have come up with a couple of questions, and we're gonna ask each other, and then we have to say either never or I have, which is the name, Never Have I Ever. And then we'll go back and forth with our questions until we run out. And whoever before I have will be crowned the champion. So
Okay.
I'm recording real quick so I can pull my questions up because they're on my phone. Okay. So do you want to go first with your questions?
No, you go first.
Okay. So we get a piece of paper so I can write down scores or whatever. Okay. So my first question is, never have I ever failed a test.
No, I haven't.
Honestly, if I think back, I don't know if I failed a test. I failed a class for sure.
Really? Wow.
Well, it was like third grade gym.
Well, I guess fair enough.
I also do have to say I've gotten like a D in art, just kind of bad. Someone, but it was just because I didn't do the assignment. But it wasn't like I was, I was just slacking. But that was a really long time ago, so we put that behind us. I don't think I've ever failed a test specifically. Okay.
All right. Never have I ever been to public school.
I have never.
Really? Me neither.
Okay.
Just clarify though. Are we counting the points based on who has done the most or who hasn't?
Who has? Or should we do who hasn't? Because technically, let's do who hasn't, because I feel like some of these I wouldn't want to have done.
Right. Okay. Sure.
Let's do that. Okay. Never have I ever eaten food off of the ground.
I think I have, but it was probably like a berry or something that slipped out of my hand, and it's probably a clean floor. So I think.
Okay, yeah, I would say I have as well. Like just like something. One other thing is like when you like rinse pasta, or not rinse it, when you like drain pasta.
Yeah.
And then it's like pasta, it always falls in the sink. I was gonna do that as a separate question, but kind of falls in the same category. I've definitely dropped food in the sink and spilled it. So, but I definitely have, like 5-second rule.
Yeah.
Think of that.
Yeah. Okay. Never have I ever submitted an assignment more than 4 days after it was due.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. I have stood on that. Yes. Have you?
Oh, please not. I have.
What?
I haven't.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I haven't. I was always very paranoid about that stuff. So.
Yeah. Well, I've been at PALCS for like 10 years now, so like I kind of know. Like you don't have to. It's not good. Like,
Yeah.
Like, things just like flip because like some things just have priorities when they're due. There's like some like the past classes
Right.
do still. So like I kind of put them down though on the list of things to do. Okay, so this is kind of similar. Never have I ever not submitted an assignment. Like just never submitted it.
I don't think I have. I mean, I haven't ever not submitted an assignment.
Okay, so you've never. Okay. Well, I did this recently because I had like a really high A, and it was like a virtual lesson assignment. It didn't really bring down my grade at all, so like I wasn't that worried about it. It was just extra work, so it's like I'm not gonna waste my time.
Right. That I can see.
Okay. Next question. So like I'm exposing myself there, and you're just like perfect.
Let me see. Never have I ever purchased a Christmas or birthday gift less than 2 days in advance.
Probably. I don't know if it was me, but probably some of my family has. It was like a collective gift for someone. Where when you just like buy flowers, we have to like, oh, that person's birthday tomorrow. Kind of that like thing. Have you?
No, I'm very I like to be prepared for that kind of stuff. So 7 months early.
Yeah, I don't know if it was necessarily me that's done it, but like someone in my family might have.
Yeah.
Okay. Never have I ever called or texted the wrong person.
I've never.
You've never put the wrong number in for someone?
Oh, I don't think I have. I don't text or call people a lot at all. So I don't think there have been many opportunities to have it go around.
Okay, well, I have a great, horribly sad story where recently I had a group chat for this class I was in. So we made a group chat, and then I put someone's number in wrong. And then my phone got turned off for spamming random person. Like, literally, they turned off my entire phone plan. So that's great. They're like, provider, now we just like, no, you spammed this person. The person like reported me. It's like I wasn't trying to do anything like mischievous. It's like I was spamming you about something. It's like whatever. But yeah, that was a brutal day.
That's so okay, never have I ever turned in an assignment that did not meet the requirements on purpose.
I don't know if I've done that on purpose. I've definitely done it by accident.
Yeah, but have you done it on purpose? That's what it.
You did it on purpose, like purposely not done it good enough.
I guess so.
Like,
you're rushed. You're like, I know this isn't the right length, but I have to submit it anyways.
I try. So here's the thing. I try really hard on my essays, but then some days I just like run out of time. But most of the time, I have done that like once. I did have like this project due for Britlit, and it was like text interactions or something. So it was kind of boring. I didn't really want to do it. I was supposed to do all the book, but I didn't. So technically, I have, but it wasn't like I like failed it on purpose. It was just like I did. But,
yeah,
like, I ran out of time kind of thing. Have you?
I don't think so.
Okay. This is a random one. Never have I ever like gone outside and just like played or danced in the rain.
I have, definitely. I mean, we have a trampoline. I've definitely been on the trampoline.
When it's raining, we were kind of like that. I felt like that would be dangerous.
Oh, maybe it was, but it's pretty fun, I think.
Yeah, so I have definitely done that as well. My sister and I, because our family, we have like a patio thing that's like goes like down, but it's like kind of like a drain thing, like it's clogged really easily. So it like fills up.
Yeah.
Get outside and just like play in the rain for a while. So it gets like really high, so it like clogs up. So I have definitely done that.
Sounds okay. Never have I ever. Let me see. Never have I ever lied about not being able to go to an event.
I only have lied about not being to an event. I've lied about not being able to call someone.
Interesting.
If that's like the same thing. Or I've like lied about being busy when I really wasn't. But that's not like, is that the same thing?
Kind of. I would say that I maybe have. I mean, but it is difficult actually, because sometimes I do say I'm busy and I'm normally kind of busy. So I guess it's not a total lie, but I guess sometimes, I don't know. I think I've probably done it once at least.
I feel like I've done it, but I've given like an excuse, but it's not the same excuse as why I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like it was a valid excuse, it just wasn't the real one.
Right.
So have you done it?
Yeah.
Okay, I would say I have as well, because let's come up with stuff to add. Okay, do you have any more questions?
No.
Okay, I have 2 more. Okay.
Right.
Never have I ever written a book.
I
Okay, yeah, I have never. I've definitely written so many drafts of books. That's like something I've always wanted to do,
yeah.
but it never happened. I just ran
Yeah.
out of space. But I was always doing like a chapter book kind of thing.
Right. I've actually, attempted to write those kinds of things. Like when I was younger, I was definitely set on writing novels, but I usually only made it like a chapter. So I've never done a novel book.
Yeah. Okay, and then the last one I have is never have I ever stolen something and or committed a crime.
No.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably the right answer. Well, I mean, I don't think it really counts because, like, I was really, really young. It was like a harmless thing. You know, we were at my sister and I were at like a toy store, and we didn't know that we were stealing though. Like, I don't think we really conceptualized what we were doing until afterwards. But technically, we did walk out with like Play-Doh. So like,
Yeah. You know, I can see how that would happen. I don't know if that's entirely your fault. Like, I don't know if that.
I think I was like 3, maybe 5.
I don't think.
I don't think that really counts. I wasn't like going into like shoplifting. I was like, you know. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you about real quick. I think you won. I have 8 numbers, and then I have 6. So you definitely won by 2 here.
Oh, well, thank you.
You are the champion of never have I ever.
I've always wanted to have.
That's a great title. Put on your resume, you know.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
For
sure. Okay. So thank you so much for being the 3rd guest actually on PALCSology Podcast. It was a pleasure to have you. And definitely amazing to hear about your journey as an author. And I definitely hope that, you know, wait, where can you buy your book?
Amazon, or Barnes and Noble online, or maybe Target online, I think. And we're working on getting it in some in-person bookstores.
So thank you so much. It was great to have you on here.
Thank you, Elle Fox, for talking to me on PALCSology. It's been a pleasure to hear about your journey as an author and illustrator, and I wish you well in your future endeavors. Remember to stay positive but not with COVID. See you next time.